What if I told you there's a player who doesn't fit the blueprint? A player so different, he almost feels impossible. Today, we're breaking down the rise of a basketball anomaly, the player who should not exist. He's not just a point guard, he's a statement, a rejection of everything the system told us was right. While others follow the playbook, he rewrites it. While others play it safe, he plays it impossible. But how did this happen? And why is it changing the game for good? This is the story of creativity versus conformity, of vision versus tradition, of a player who proved that sometimes being different isn't just okay, it's revolutionary. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because here on Think, we don't just tell basketball stories, we uncover the stories no one else dares to tell. Trust me, you've never heard this story told like this. To understand how someone becomes impossible, you have to go back to the beginning, back to a family that refused to follow the rules. Picture this: most kids grow up learning fundamentals, proper shooting form, safe passes, staying in your lane. But in Chino Hills, California, there was a kid learning something else entirely. He was learning that basketball wasn't just a sport, it was a canvas. His father didn't just want his sons to play basketball, he wanted them to revolutionize it. While other parents taught their kids to blend in, LaMelo Ball taught his sons to stand out. And the youngest? He took that lesson to heart. AAU basketball is usually about following systems, running plays, doing what coaches tell you. But this kid? He was already breaking the mold. Watch this clip from when he was 13. Shooting from half court wasn't showing off, it was Wednesday practice. Throwing passes that made grown men gasp wasn't flashy, it was just how he saw the game. While others played safe, this kid broke every rule in the book, and somehow, it worked. By the time he got to Chino Hills High School, he wasn't just playing basketball anymore, he was creating art. 92-point game? Just another night. State championship? Expected. But here's what nobody understood yet: this wasn't talent alone, this was vision. Then came the game changer: social media, YouTube mixtapes, Instagram highlights. And suddenly, a high school kid from California became a global phenomenon. 10 years ago, if you wanted to be noticed, you played in college, you followed the system, you waited your turn. But this generation? They had YouTube, they had Instagram, they had the power to skip the gatekeepers. His mixtapes weren't just getting views, they were getting millions of views. Kids in Tokyo were copying his moves, players in Europe were studying his passes. He became famous not for what he accomplished, but for how he played. But here's where it gets interesting. Fame at 16 comes with a price. Every move scrutinized, every mistake magnified. The same social media that made him famous, it also made him a target. Too flashy, not a team player. All style, no substance. The criticism was loud, the doubts were real. But something interesting happened. The more they criticized his style, the more popular he became. Because here's what the critics missed: he wasn't just entertaining people, he was inspiring them. Kids all over the world started playing differently because of him. That's not just fame, that's influence. With great fame comes great skepticism. And boy, were the basketball purists ready to tear him down. ESPN analysts said his fundamentals were questionable. College coaches said he'd never make it playing that way. Even NBA scouts had concerns. Can you win with a player like that? They asked. Let's break down what they were really saying. Traditional point guards are supposed to be floor generals, steady, reliable, safe. They make the right pass, take the open shot, manage the game. But LaMelo? He was doing the opposite. While other point guards were running pick and rolls, he was throwing full court passes. While they were taking open threes, he was pulling from the logo with a hand in his face. While they were managing the game, he was creating magic. The central question became, can a player built on style survive in a system built on structure? Can creativity coexist with winning? The basketball world was about to get its answer, but not in the way anyone expected. Draft night was approaching, but first, he had to make a decision that would shock everyone. Because while his peers were choosing between Duke, Kentucky, and UCLA, he was looking at a map of the world. 2018. While America's top prospects were suiting up for college blue bloods, LaMelo Ball was packing his bags for Lithuania. Yes, Lithuania. This wasn't just unconventional, it was unprecedented. Top American prospects don't skip college for overseas leagues. But LaMelo wasn't most prospects. Imagine being 17 years old, playing against 30-year-old professionals who've been playing longer than you've been alive. No more high school crowds cheering your every move. No more hometown support. Just you, your talent, and the question, can you really play? The European game is different. More physical, more tactical, less forgiving of mistakes. But something magical happened. Instead of conforming to their style, he made them adapt to his. Full court passes in a league that values ball security? Check. Logo threes in a system built on team offense? Check. And the craziest part? It worked. He wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. And if you're enjoying how this story keeps getting crazier, make sure you're subscribed to Think, because we're just getting to the good part. But Lithuania was just the warm-up. Next stop, Australia, the NBL, where he'd face his biggest test yet. By the time he reached Australia, something something had changed. The flashy kid was becoming a complete player. Still creative, still impossible to predict, but now with the wisdom that comes from playing against men who treat basketball like a job. November 2020, NBA Draft Night. After 2 years overseas, after all the criticism, after all the doubts, the Charlotte Hornets selected LaMelo Ball with the 3rd overall pick. The reactions were split. Some called it a steal, others called it a gamble. But Michael Jordan saw something. The greatest player of all time bet on the kid who played like no one else. Game 1. Most rookies ease into the league, test the waters, play it safe. LaMelo Ball threw a no-look pass in his first quarter and pulled up from 30 feet like he'd been doing it for years. But this wasn't beginner's luck. This was the culmination of everything. The creativity, the overseas experience, the confidence that comes from proving doubters wrong over and over again. Let's break down this play from his 5th game. Watch the defender's eyes. He's not just seeing what's happening, he's seeing what's about to happen. That's not luck. That's vision developed over thousands of hours of playing basketball differently than everyone else. Game after game, the highlights kept coming. But here's what separated him from other rookies making flashy plays. His teammates started playing better. His team started winning more. The style wasn't just entertaining, it was effective. By January, the Rookie of the Year conversation was over. By March, people were talking about all-star potential. By season's end, he'd proven something that shouldn't have been possible. You can win by being different. LaMelo Ball didn't just enter the NBA, he started changing it. And the ripple effects are everywhere. Suddenly, other point guards were attempting passes they'd never dreamed of. Kids in pickup games were pulling from the logo. Youth coaches were having to adjust their philosophies. But the impact goes deeper than just style. Let's look at the numbers. Charlotte's offensive rating jumped 8 points his rookie season. Their pace increased. Their assist numbers skyrocketed. But here's the crazy part. Their turnovers barely increased. He was making risky plays without the risk. Compare his assist to turnover ratio to other rookies. Compare his shot selection to his efficiency. The numbers tell a story that shouldn't make sense. High-risk plays with low-risk results. Watch how defenses react to him now. They can't sag off. He'll pull from anywhere. They can't double-team. He'll find the open man before the help arrives. They can't predict him because he plays by different rules. In a league that's becoming more and more about analytics and efficiency, LaMelo brings something you can't measure with numbers. Pure basketball instinct. He makes the right play even when it looks completely wrong. The influence isn't just domestic. Kids in Europe, Asia, Australia, everywhere he played, are playing differently because of him. That's not just a player impact, that's a cultural shift. So here we are. LaMelo Ball has proven the critics wrong. He's shown that different can win. But the biggest questions are still ahead. The league is adapting to him, but can he keep adapting to the league? History is full of players who had moments. What separates the legends from the shooting stars? There are concerns. The style that makes him special also makes him vulnerable. Those full-court sprints, those acrobatic passes, that fearless approach to contact. It all takes a toll. But here's what the numbers show. He's not just maintaining his level, he's improving. His shooting percentage is up. His decision-making is sharper. His leadership is growing. Listen to what his teammates say. Watch how young players on other teams study his film. This isn't just a moment, this is a movement. The Hornets went from lottery team to playoff contenders. Coincidence? Ask the season ticket holders who show up early just to watch warm-ups. Ask the TV ratings. Ask the kids wearing his jersey. And if you want to see more breakdowns of players changing the game, hit that subscribe button for Fink right now. We're about to get into why this story is bigger than just basketball. The question isn't whether LaMelo Ball will be great. The question is how he'll redefine greatness. Because when you play like no one else, the rules change for everyone. This isn't just about one player. It's about what happens when creativity beats the system, when confidence defies the odds, when someone who shouldn't exist changes everything. 10 years ago, scouts would have said his style wouldn't translate. 5 years ago, coaches would have benched him for those passes. Today, teams are building their offenses around players like him. He proved that basketball isn't just about following the playbook. Sometimes you have to write your own. He showed that being different isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. LaMelo Ball didn't just make it to the NBA despite being different. He's succeeding because he's different. And that difference? It's changing basketball forever. If you love stories like this, smash that like button, subscribe to Fink, and comment below. Is LaMelo Ball the most creative player of his generation, or just a moment in time? Let's talk about it. And don't forget, here on Fink, we tell the stories that matter, the stories that inspire, the stories that prove that sometimes the impossible is just waiting for the right person to make it possible. Until next time, keep believing in the power of being different.